So Dragon Ball Daima is coming to an end. What comes after the final events of Dragon Ball Daima remains to be seen, but everyone is expecting the Dragon Ball Super manga by Toyotaro to return and should finally bring us the future event of what happens after Black Frieza arrived on Planet Cereal and killed Gas in one shot and defeated Ultra Ego Vegeta and Ultra Instinct Goku in one shot at the same damn time. Now guys, smash a like on the video if you want to see the Granola arc animated by the animation team in charge of Dragon Ball Daima and the recent few episodes that we've just been amazed by. We have not seen Black Frieza since then, even though the Super Hero arc has happened and has gone beyond those events, but Black Frieza is still seen as an imminent threat in the universe. But given that Dragon Ball Daima predates Dragon Ball Super's inception with Battle of Gods, and we've been introduced to the Demon Realm, and the most powerful weapon known in the Demon Realm currently, the Third Eye, even though I speculate that that could belong to an even more powerful entity. Still, a huge theory going around that the next arc of Dragon Ball Super, the 10th arc in the manga, will feature exposition that has been explored in Dragon Ball Daima, and that Dragon Ball Daima has been a story told to serve as exposition and for future things to come in a major arc in Dragon Ball Super. So, Black Frieza is already pretty damn strong. According to the Jump magazines, he's not as strong as Beerus yet, but we do know what his goals are. What if he attains the Third Eye? Please do smash a like on the video if you think Daima is setting up something major to happen in Dragon Ball Super's future. I know a lot of you certainly do. Smash a like on the video, and please do, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. My nephew says that I ain't shit till I've got 100,000 subscribers. Lend me your energy, subscribe to the channel so I can put an end to this Dragon Ball denying, menacing nephew. And as always guys, I do this so we can have discussions in the community about prominent topics that are being discussed by the Dragon Ball fandom. So make sure you comment down below and I'll be sure to read them and look forward to reading them soon. So the thing about the Third Eye is obviously it's heavily magic based. It's not something that necessarily has raw power in the same regards to Goku and Vegeta and the gang, where they utilize ki energy to serve as their attacking output. However, it can fuel the user to have an attacking output and attacking potency in a different means via magic. It's quintessentially almost the same thing, except magic seems to be capable of a lot more really, though I don't think we know fully the full extent of what magic's fully capable of and even what ki is fully capable of. But right now in Daima it seems to be a battle of ki energy versus magic, and I assume at some point in the future, even though you can argue it's happened slightly already, at some point in the future these two components, magic and ki, are going to be able to be utilized together to form an unquenchable, unresistible power. You can say that it did happen in the Moro arc. Moro arc had magic and he eventually gained the use of ki through absorbing the energy of his opponents, and then obviously eating OG7-3 and gaining the ability to copy abilities, and then copied Meiwis' power and gained what most people now call Ultra Gogeta that you can use with the Ultra forms. So he was able to use Ultra Instinct and magic at the same time. He even stated that against Ultra Instinct Goku that magic gave him the advantage when he had Ultra Instinct. So magic is more than capable of harming an Ultra Instinct opponent. And then we saw Moro, because he couldn't handle the power of his natural body, that he had to merge with the planet, and he used magic to do so. Magic is capable of some crazy things, and I think that's why it's been brought into the franchise, to really mix things up in the future. However, the Third Eye is stated to be unparalleled magical power. So that leads me to believe, at least, that the Third Eye, with its full extent, is capable of magic greater than what Obidi, Bibidi, Majin Buu, or Moro have demonstrated so far, and they've demonstrated some pretty impressive magical abilities. Now what we've seen from the Third Eye so far, obviously I don't think we've seen the full extent of it yet, but we've seen power negation, Gomah, who is potentially quite a weak host with the Third Eye, and that's important. I'll come back to it later. In fact guys, let me know down in the comment section who you think would be a more powerful host for the Third Eye, who would be a better host for the Third Eye than Gomah, the Supreme Demon King. After all, base Gomah was pretty weak, to be fair, in comparison to the Z Warriors, but ultimately Gomah with the Third Eye is able to be stronger than a Super Saiyan 4, Okay, we've only seen him against Kid Super Saiyan 4 Goku so far, but the previews for episode 20, we've seen that he can push an adult Super Saiyan 4 Goku back. The third eye allowed him to negate Super Saiyan 4 down to Super Saiyan 3, down to Super Saiyan to base. Power negation is an incredible and magical ability to have. The only thing we've seen similar to it in Dragon Ball really is the ability negation we saw from the Grand Priest in the Tournament of Power, where he took away the fighter's ability to fly in the Tournament of Power arena. The ability to get your opponent and de-transform them is insane, especially against a Saiyan who heavily rely on transformations. Probably won't be so effective against someone like Jiren, but Saiyans heavily rely on their transformations to get amped in power. Now, if you follow the fight with the Daima warriors, I guess you could call them, against Gomah, Gomah's actually taken a beating most of the time. I don't think Gomah's particularly a good martial artist or a good fighter or a good warrior in that regard. I think, and I would highly doubt he's used to the power that the third eye is actually giving him, but the third eye is ampening to power levels beyond that of Super Saiyan 4, but it's also giving him regeneration and unlimited stamina by the looks of it. So let's go back to the Moro example. Let's say Moro had the third eye. Moro's issue was that he couldn't handle the amount of sheer power that he had because his body wasn't trained. Well, the third eye would override that and allow him to just fight and continuously fight without any sort of toll on his body, especially if he had Ultra Instinct. Of course, if we go back to Resurrection of F, Frieza initially had troubles with his golden state because he trained to get to that form, but he didn't train beyond that to actually get used to the form. Of course, he doesn't quite have those issues with his golden form in the Tournament of Power. He's learned from Resurrection of F, but ultimately when getting his black form, he doesn't really get pushed hard. So does he have these stamina drain issues with his black form? I would imagine not so much to the extent that he did in Resurrection of F with his golden form. However, he's not a character that has unlimited stamina like, say, an android. He doesn't have the magical abilities to keep regenerating and not lose energy like a Majin, just as we saw with Kid Buu against Super Saiyan 3 Goku on the Supreme World of the Kais, where basically, even if he is at the same level as his opponent, that type of ability, that type of hacks will give him the advantage in the battle of attrition. Now guys, the reason I actually do really like this theory, and I know why a lot of people are actually trying to say that this could be a thing in the future and Toyotaro could already be on it, is simply because, like I said, Frieza is active in the universe, he's alive and well, he already is really powerful, he's trained with his power as well, and based on reading the wider literature of the Dragon Ball franchise, we know that Frieza has aimed, goals and objectives to achieve. Now, not only does Frieza want to reign by fear, he also wants to kill Beerus. As we learned in the Dragon Ball Super anime, it's not touched upon so much in the manga, to be fair, but in the anime we learn that he wants to rule over not just Beerus but the Omni Kings as well. And then a producer for the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie gave us some insight into Frieza's motives, and that is once again to rule over the Omni Kings. So Zeno and future Zeno and the Grand Priest, you could argue, are in Frieza's sights. Now obviously we know power wise they are way beyond him, but that's not exactly going to stop him, is it? However, his first port of call is going to be Beerus. We know he has issues with Beerus, and that Beerus has used his own power to basically order Frieza around. He ordered Frieza to destroy planet Vegeta, for instance, even though Frieza probably wanted to do it anyway. So whilst Frieza went into a room of spirit and time in order to become more powerful than Goku and Vegeta, and obviously he proved so in the Granola arc, he would have had other characters in mind. Obviously he can't take over them all in one go, and Frieza's likely plotting and scheming a way to actually accomplish something like this. Now obviously the third eye is stated to have unparalleled power. Whether that has more power than the Omni King, obviously that's a big leap in logic, but the statement there, given that it's from the Demon Realm as well, which predates the multiverse itself, in fact you could argue that it might even predate and be more powerful than Rhymus, given that Rhymus was being ordered around to create a multiverse. Given the right host, this weapon may be extremely potent, and Frieza with raw power and magic on his side, without the ability to be drained by this powerful form he now needs to utilize, against somebody like Beerus, this would be extremely effective considering Beerus can use Hakai very efficiently. Now guys, as you know, if you've been following my channel for a while, I've been one of Beerus' biggest defenders regarding him still being the top dog or top cat, whatever you want to call him. However, I do believe his time will come up soon. I do believe they are closing the gap, and I do believe chapter 102 and 103 of Dragon Ball Super alluded to that, because Beerus is now talking about Goku surpassing him and also Gohan being a potential God of Destruction candidate, and he did state that they would have to surpass him to be able to do so. That was almost a prerequisite to be able to do so. But given that it's likely that Black Frieza is still stronger than Silverhaired Ultra Instincts as of chapter 103, then Frieza might actually be the closest to actually doing so. According to Jump, he hasn't done so quite yet, but he is close to Beerus. But with the third eye at his disposal, with the amps he will get from it, as well as the hacks abilities he will get from the magic, such as regeneration, power amps, and unlimited stamina, you've got to imagine that would really put him at Beerus' level, if not beyond. So that's why I like this theory, because it makes sense. There is a motive for it. Frieza will be plotting and scheming, and I do prefer villains that plot and scheme and have agendas. That's why I like my Zamasus, it's why I like my Friezas, more so than some other villains and antagonists in the series. But of course that would require him to have information on the Demon Realm. But given what Frieza stated in the Granola arc, that there's nothing in this universe that he doesn't know, you would imagine that he would at least have information on the Demon Realm. And perhaps he's visited the Demon Realm to actually find out greater knowledge or attain higher power. And if the third eye is still lurking around after Daima and it's not destroyed in episode 20 of Dragon Ball Daima, perhaps Frieza will attain the ultimate weapon, or at least the most powerful weapon we know of in Dragon Ball so far. I mean, let's face it, if Frieza learns about the Demon Realm, knows that it predates the multiverse, he's going to want to rule that too, especially knowing that he could probably rule it because the beings there aren't as strong as, say, the Angel Realms beings like the Grand Priest and the Omni Kings. It would be the first port of call. There's so much to like about this theory. Obviously it's a theory, and we'll have to wait and see whether it comes true, and we'll see if Daima does truly line up to Super, because episode 20 is going to have to be crammed full of information to sort out some of the continuity areas. Let me know what you think. Should Frieza attain the third eye and use it in conjunction with his black form, or do you think another villain should get it? Obviously some of these villains don't exist, at least knowingly anymore. Moro, Zamasu, Majin Buu. But, you know, death's a joke in Dragon Ball, so they could always bring them back quite easily. Do you think one of them would be more apt to have that ability? Moro definitely had quite potent magic abilities, so he'd probably be a good user, but I just think Frieza right now, with his motives, his level of power, could be a good nomination to attain that type of power. But as always guys, now it's on you. I really want to know your thoughts down in the comment section. I really look forward to reading what you've got to say on this theory. We won't have much longer left to keep theorizing. That's what the anime series does really well. It gives us a chance to theorize about lots of things and have fun doing so. Smash a like in the video, stay locked into the channel by making sure you're subscribed. Hopefully the Dragon Ball Super manga fully returns soon with the new 10th arc of the Dragon Ball Super manga. Until next time, Ad Astra.